All right, guys, here's part two of your notes videos for today. Okay, we're going to talk about what diffusion is. We talked about distribution and globalization first, and now we're just going to focus on diffusion. Okay, and diffusion is how did something spread from one place to another. Okay, distribution is how it's kind of laid out or arranged across an area. This is how something spreads. Okay, diffusion is all about how something spreads. And so some basic things that you need to know is Herth is a point of origin. Okay, so where something begins or the point in which it begins at. And there are two basic types of diffusion. We have relocation diffusion and we have expansion diffusion. These should hopefully be pretty easy to understand because relocation diffusion is spread through physical movement, meaning it is spread by relocating or moving yourself. And those are things like language, religion, ethnicity. Those are all spread. When you move, you take that stuff with you and you practice it wherever you move to. And so that's why it's considered relocation diffusion. Expansion diffusion can be further broken down into three different types. But expansion is spread through the snowballing process. Okay, obviously we know that when like a snowball rolls down a hill, it continually gets added to and it becomes bigger and bigger. That's expansion diffusion. Okay, and we have three different types. Like I said, we have hierarchical diffusion, which comes from power or authority. So things like fashion trends diffuse through hierarchical diffusion because you look at people that wear things. If you're a basketball fan and you really like LeBron James, he's in a state of power and authority because of his fame and because of his basketball ability. And so you might look and say, what kind of shoes is he wearing? I want some of those shoes. It's why his shoes with his name brand sell so well. Okay. Um, Contagious diffusion. That is diffusion that is spread contagiously. Things like the flu or other illnesses are obviously spread that way, or prevention techniques are spread that way. Um, Videos on the internet are spread through contagious diffusion. Okay, things like the Gangnam Style video or other things like that. Right. Every time you watch it, you send it out to your friends, and they send it out to their friends, and it continually becomes contagious. A good thing with that would be TikTok. Right. TikTok's become famous because people watch them, they send them to their friends, those people send them to their friends, and then people get lots of views on their videos because they think that it's cool and it's spread contagiously like that. Lastly, we have stimulus diffusion, which is diffusion like underlying ideas and the diffusion of that. So the diffusion of one thing is better than the other, and people going out and spreading that word. Like if you think that Adidas is better than Nike, and you go out and you kind of spread that around, and you think that it's better. That's a type of diffusion. Same with McDonald's or Burger King, Subway, Jimmy John's, those sorts of things. Domino's, Papa John's, right? Those are all stimulus diffusion. Again, you will need to know and be able to identify different types of diffusion for your test. Again, Herth, point of origin, I went over that earlier. These are the two types of diffusion. Um, Again, went over that already. What is spatial distribution? Okay, spatial distribution is the what processes create and sustain the pattern of distribution. Okay, that's the definition of spatial diffusion. Um, Further to explain that, when places are connected to each other in some way, that's spatial diffusion as well. And you can see, how do places become connected? Well, in the past, it was boat routes and the train tracks and things like that. Now it's highways and phone lines and the internet and undersea cables. Okay, really now it's anybody who has a phone, you can be connected with them, but that's kind of spatial diffusion. Distance decay. Okay, distance decay is the further you get from somewhere, the less influence another place has. Right. So if I moved from Minnesota to Europe, okay, Minnesota is going to start to have less influence over me. Right. The things that I wear or the things that I do. I'm not going to be as much of a fisherman or an outdoorsman, or be able to skate and do outdoor hockey and things like that, because it's just not available there. And so the further away you get, the more the less influence it has, or the more decay that takes place. Okay. Um, Again, relocation diffusion. A good example of that is religion. Um, we will watch. Well, let's see. I think we can watch this together. Yes, we will watch this together. All right. So obviously, we know that religion has spread all throughout the world. The point of that was to show you kind of how that relocation diffusion takes place, right? We know that religion does not just start, begin, and only stay in one place. And as you could see there with the different colors that were covering the different continents, it changes, and as people move or conquer different areas, they and relocate, they bring their religion with them, and it spreads there, or it diffuses there. Okay. Contagious diffusion, again, a good example is disease. This is a map of the bubonic plague in Europe, one of the worst plagues in world history. And you can kind of see how it spreads through one person gets it, affects others. Kind of the same as the COVID-19 virus, and how that has spread. That's contagious diffusion as well. Hierarchical diffusion TVs, okay? You see a TV on a commercial, or you have a friend or somebody that has a TV that you think highly of, and you buy that TV, and then it spreads that way. Um, okay, your last thing, not quite the last thing, okay? But I believe on your note sheet, you can pause the video right now and answer this question, okay? What kind of diffusion occurs fastest in the modern world, and why? Okay, what do you think? Okay, so pause the video and answer that quickly. Hopefully you answered that expansion diffusion occurs fastest. Okay, in today's world, it's a lot easier to send something via the internet or see something on social media than it is to actually relocate. And so, with the modern technology that we have, expansion occurs fastest. Okay, cultural diffusion. Really, all you need to know is to look at the bold words here. Cultural diffusion is something we'll get to in try two. But it's the spread of elements of culture, such as food, religion, um, language, arts, music, sports, inventions, all of those things. It's the diffusion of anything that has to do with culture. That's cultural diffusion, right? All those things deal with culture, and it's kind of the spread of those things. Okay. What is the difference between site and situation? Okay. We kind of learned about that with our themes of geography notes, but I just want to hit it again quickly. Site is absolute location. Okay, site is absolute location. Um, a specific place where something is located. Okay, the physical characteristics of it. Situation is our relative location, so it's the location of a place relative to other places. Okay, it's the human characteristics of that place. So site, absolute location; situation, relative location. Um, Obviously, the site of this place would be the address of target field. Okay, and the situation of this place would be, well, it's kind of in North Minneapolis. It's near the Minneapolis skyline. It's not too far from downtown. Some more human characteristics of it are it's a very urban place. It is a it's in the middle. It's not in the middle. It's on the north end of the city. Okay, that is the situation. All right, that's all we have for notes today. So make sure you get those notes, you understand them, and then you do the 2 activities for today, and then you are good to go. All right, let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, have a great day and a great weekend.